Another city group questions eviction notice. Highlands Highway sections damaged by flooding. And public servants urged to focus on serving in 2017.
This is the National EMTV News with Lorraine Gabina.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Tuesday's news. Tenants of a National Housing Commission property in Port Moresby are questioning an eviction notice served to them last month. Tenants raised a series of questions about the process taken by the National Housing Estate Limited. They have petitioned the NHEL and are waiting for a response.
On 13 December 2016, tenants of the Toguba hostel were served an eviction notice and were asked to sign documents for the eviction to take place. The notice was served by the National Housing Estate and delivered by an agent. This process has been questioned by the tenants.
So when they came, they just forced or asked the people around to sign. But what they said was, the ladies that were around, they said, "Oh, we can't just sign." But they were forcing them to sign the letters.
A total of 4 blocks of units exist within the property with 10 rooms each. Tenants told MTV News families have lived there for the past 30 years and have done most of the renovation despite paying rent.
We have maintained this place with our own money. Own costings come from our own pockets. Some of the women's rental still go through yet. And where is the rental going when our water has been cut to?
In the letter served to the tenants, the National Housing Estate Limited is embarking on new developments for the property. The eviction notice will be effective on 14th of this month.
We asked them if they can give us ample time to look for accommodation so we can move. So today they haven't come back, so we want a response from them.
Following the rampant eviction exercise between 2010 and 2012 in the country, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill announced the stop eviction notice for all NHC properties in 2013. The Toguba tenants want better dialogue with NHEL to address this issue.
We are human beings. You can't be just giving 3 weeks or 4 weeks notice for people to move. Because under the policy, I'm pretty sure as a tenancy agreement with the tenant and the landlord, it should be given at least some 6 months for us to actually find a place. This is just a few weeks notice and it's not right.
More than 40 families are currently occupying the property. Most are single mothers and employed in the public and private sector. NHEL is yet to respond to the petition presented by the tenants on the 19th of December 2016. Jack Lapave Jr., National MTV News.
Traffic along the 41-mile section of the Highlands Highway has slowed to a crawl after flooding damaged road sections. The problematic stretch runs along a river that has broken its riverbanks. Attempts to keep the river under control have proven unsuccessful, with works teams saying a new approach is needed to contain the problem.
Since yesterday, smaller buses have been stranded along the 41-mile section of the Highlands Highway. This stretch of road runs along a river that has broken its banks due to the build-up of sedimentation. It appears to be a small problem, but if left for 12 months more, it will cause millions of kina worth of damage. For transport businesses, the delays are costing them a lot.
Also, the government must look several something. People all kissing bagrap, road bagrap, all get something bagrap. Pothole wokro brook, bliss wokro brook, amko wokro brook, all get something wokro brook, run slightly camp, plenty heavy miplo wokro facing. Not highway driver mipla kissing bigla bagrap, mipla sirit kilap, na miplo wokro 7 people here.
Many of the passengers stranded since yesterday have been finding alternative means of transport. It's costing them a lot more to travel. But this is just a tiny representation of the state of the Highlands Highway, an economic lifeline neglected and suffering. Scott Wide, National MTV News, Ley.
The Correctional Service headquarters in Port Moresby has confirmed that 29 prisoners have escaped by breaking out of the perimeter fence of the main compound. The breakout happened in the afternoon of December 31st. One of the escapees was shot dead and several others had received injuries. They are now receiving treatment at the Boram Hospital under heavy CS, defense and police guard. For now, they are not able to give details of whether the inmates are remandees or convicted. As the CS headquarters will officially resume work tomorrow, investigations into the breakout will proceed with disciplinary action to follow. However, this may take a while until government accounts open on January 9. Police in East Sepik have arrested 4 suspects over the piracy incident that occurred along the Sepik River in December last year, where 2 men were killed and others seriously injured. Provincial Police Commander Superintendent Philip Peter said about 9 suspects attacked passengers who were traveling down from the upper Sepik. The other 5 suspects are still at large with their identities known to police. Mr. Peter at this time could not confirm reports of houses being torched in retaliation to the attack. Police are deployed at Ambunti Station to maintain law and order while investigation is ongoing. In our bulletin on New Year's Day, we aired a story inferring a person who had died and 2 injured as a result of a road accident in Hohola involving a vehicle owned by TV broadcaster Click TV, as shown in the pictures of the vehicle sporting the company's logo. Upon rechecking the facts of the story, it has been confirmed that no one died in the accident, while the Click TV driver suffered minor injuries. Eyewitness accounts revealed that alcohol may have been a factor, but there has been no evidence to prove this being the case. Click TV has called on drivers in the nation's capital to be wary of slippery roads and opportunists who might be looking to take advantage of drivers at this time. We apologize to Click TV for misreporting the facts surrounding this incident in particular, and we assure the viewing public that MTV will continue to seek the truth in all its reports. We have more stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. PNG authorities have confirmed the death of a Sudanese refugee in Australia. Foreign Affairs and Immigration Minister Rimbing Pato acknowledged the passing of the 27-year-old who was receiving intensive care treatment after collapsing in Manus. Minister Pato said PNG authorities have made contact with the family of the deceased refugee. Meanwhile, an inquiry will be established by PNG and Australian officials surrounding the cause of the refugee's death. Service delivery is the focus for all public servants as they resumed normal duties today. Personnel Management Secretary John Cully says public servants are expected to deliver this year and in the years to come.
Now, according to security personnel here at the Central Government Office, not many turned up for work this morning at the start of government business today on January 3, 2017. Government business resumed today with all public civil servants urged to work smarter this year. Secretary Kali says public servants will need to improve leadership, performance and productivity in response to the government's needs under the Public Service Management Act 2014.
I expect all public servants to resume work on 3rd of January. But in the meantime, let me take this opportunity, go for the better. And this is why I said, we'll come up with a fresh, breath of fresh air in 2017, because the experience that we've had here will give us that opportunity to move on from there. So all departmental heads will be encouraged when we have the Leaders Summit in February to take it from there, to look back on the experience and look forward to 2017, because I think we have better times ahead of us.
A direction from the national government which will be implemented this year is the clock-in and clock-out system. This new direction is for all public civil servants to clock in and clock out during official hours.
That then automatically registers with the payroll system to say that you are at work. So when you leave, also clock out. And so the payroll system only pays you for being at work. And if you want to get paid for being at work, then get to work on time and do the work. And in that way, encouraging people to come to work means also being performance-oriented and introducing productivity at the workplace.
All government departments must comply with this direction driven by their departmental heads as part of their performance-based contracts. And their respective ministers and the departmental heads sign on to their performance agreements to ensure that key results are achieved. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Don Pollier says the public service machinery is in disarray, with its systems breaking down because it has been politicized. He called on politicians to leave the public service alone to continue its main function of service delivery.
The opposition leader says people are the center of development and should be the focus of service delivery. Mr. Pollier is concerned about the way the public service machinery is functioning, saying it has been heavily politicized.
I'm very, very sorry for the public service. The public service is in disarray. It is not coordinated. There's no authority in the public service. The public service systems are breaking down. They will soon become non-functional. Some of them will have failed to even deliver what they're supposed to be delivering. The public service is being destroyed, politicized.
The standing orders for public civil servants were not being followed, Pollier says, resulting in gross unprofessionalism. With Papua New Guinea's current low economic and business environment, risk of public civil servants misapplying funds remains an ongoing challenge.
There will not be proficiency in public service. You will not see efficiency nor effectiveness. A public service will continue to deteriorate. Those few that control the public service will find it very, very tempting to misapply even the little funds that they have for recurrent expenditure, or the little funds they have for capital investment or capital programs will be such a temptation that they will find it very difficult to manage it and spend where it was supposed to be spent.
Mr. Pollier is afraid that if public civil servants continue to attach themselves to politicians, this will defy the system of command in the public service.
Therefore, you'll find over-expenditure will become a normal part of the public service system. Over-expenditure, spending outside of budget will not be controlled. Lack of discipline, lack of professionalism will be quite common in the public service, because the system will start to break down. Even decision makers will find it difficult to make decisions.
The opposition leader called on all public civil servants to stand firm with the moral obligation to serve the people of this nation under the spirit of the Papua New Guinea Constitution. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
The opposition leader Don Pollier also called on police to protect the lives of its people as it is their constitutional duty. He said this is not happening with the increase in police brutality cases.
I'd like to ask the police commissioner to please discipline the school policemen, to stop police brutality, and to carry out works of politicians and private business people. I'd like to ask the police commissioner and those policing authority to do the work of Papua New Guineans, the 8 million people, not a few in authority or not those few who own a lot of money, like foreigners or even nationals. We must work for the Papua New Guineans, protecting them, observing their human rights, enhancing peace and comfort in societies, even at such a financial difficult times.
Heads of the three disciplinary forces have been instructed by Prime Minister Peter O'Neill to enforce the one strike and you're out policy. The directive comes following the confrontation by members of the PNG Defence Force and the police last Sunday. The confrontation involved the assaults of senior police officers and the firing of gunshots. The PM described the confrontation as very concerning and says the relevant commanders to investigate and take firm actions against those involved. Tourism Minister Tobias Kulang says the Sirinumu Dam in Central Province has the potential to become a tourism hub. Minister Kulang's comments come after he visited the dam over the weekend. His visit was a surprise for the local community.
The area where the Sirinumu Dam is built is the customary land for the Koyari people. It was once a huge landmass used for gardening, but is now covered with water.
So what New Tintin and Minister, all people here all sit down, me want them all board blomy, we like a big Tintin lo change him this area he come up one tourism up in Salo Papua New Guinea.
There are a number of islands on Sirinumu Dam.
How big your water?
And Minister Kulang's visit was to identify opportunities and assist locals through the Tourism Promotion Authority develop the dam into a tourism hub. The minister's visit comes at a time the Koyari people are seeking assistance to turn their traditional land into a tourism hub.
August something play working, some development company working, everything coming flowing. Emi come to say, Emi no come good. Why? Because road access plan down, you can see. Please, the priorities, please. Once there's an accession more right, please, I think there's a tourism by come good, everything by come good, come good to buy you, come book road too.
They have already set up projects under the Sirinumu Eco-Tourism Authority. At the moment, the dam has a fish pond which breeds freshwater fish and other seafood. The other islands have guest houses, most of which are incomplete.
Monday to Friday. But Port Moresby doesn't have that kind of place, you see. So I believe that Sirinumu plays a key role, very strategic role. And it's been sitting here for a very long time, until today. So today, I'm here to announce that TPA will take the lead in working in partnership with SEED.
During the visit, the minister pledged to assist the locals in purchasing their building materials for the guest houses and upgrading the ring road into Sirinumu. This he plans to do with the assistance from the central provincial leaders and the NCD governor, Powes Pakop. Takla Gunga, National EMTV News.
And now looking at our finance news, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.3150 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.3075, $0.4252 Australian dollars, €0.2913 and 35.80 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold and cocoa closed while coffee and copra closed higher. Palm oil closed lower, copper with crude oil closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 57 points lower. The ASX is trading at 55 points higher. The All Ordinaries is trading at 53 points lower. And still to come in the news, stories making headlines overseas. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Make 2017 a year in which citizens, governments and leaders to strive to overcome differences. This is the New Year message from the newly appointed UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres. Guterres is determined to make peace his core business to prevent and solve conflicts, with the priority to make human dignity the core of his work. His wish to resolve and to make peace a goal that can guide. The Australian federal government is considering tougher citizenship tests to crack down on terrorists trying to sneak into the country. 7 News revealed that thousands of migrants fail the test each year but are allowed to sit it over and over again until they pass.
Every year, tens of thousands of people from dozens of different countries become Australian.
I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people.
Each one has to pass a citizenship test.
Asking people questions about whether or not they know different aspects of Australian culture or society.
7 News can reveal thousands don't. 96% of those approved for citizenship since 2012 sat the test up to 3 times before passing, while nearly 8,000 people had to take the test 4 to 10 times, and one man failed 47 times before passing and becoming a citizen on his 48th attempt.
15 out of 20 questions the person has to answer correctly in order to pass, but even if they do fail, they can sit it again.
It's ridiculous just because you answer some questions, which I've been told, that they're told the answers anyway.
The Immigration Minister agrees and wants the questionnaire extended to look at an individual's willingness to learn English, desire to educate their children, plus employment prospects or potential welfare dependents.
We want people to have a greater tangible demonstration of the fact that they've embraced Australian values.
The focus on citizenship comes as the federal government moves to tighten our borders in response to terror attacks abroad and threats at home.
I think it's important for all Australians, particularly given what we've seen over summer.
Peter Dutton will also look at closing migration loopholes, with fears terrorists are using temporary visas to gain access to Australia.
I think the Australian public would demand that we continue to look at those people more closely, perhaps, than we have in the past.
Residents in Port Augusta in South Australia are fuming as clouds of fly ash from disused fire station blew across the city. The fire station was closed in May, but the ash problem has intensified in recent days because of severe weather.
Clouds of fly ash have blown from the former Port Augusta power station several times since August, but has reached a new level in the past 2 days.
We know people's lungs were not designed to sit there and suck in airborne fly ash.
The ash is a coal byproduct and is stored in dams. It used to be suppressed by a slurry from Alinta Energy's power station, but is now exposed.
Pretty angry actually, because I think the power station was closed in May 2016 and here we are in 2017 being covered with dirty fly ash.
Mayor Sam Johnson says he tried discussing the issue with Federal Energy Minister Josh Frydenberg a month ago, but was told by staffers it's a state issue.
This is the first coal-fired power station to close. We know there's more to come. There's one in Victoria that's closing next year. He, as a minister, by not responding, by not acting, by choosing to do nothing, is actually setting a national precedent, and the buck stops with him.
Locals are feeling helpless.
As a community, we haven't got the resources to deal with a problem on this scale because it is a big scale.
For a community hoping to capitalise on its location as the crossroads of Australia, the fly ash isn't the only problem.
The impression that it gives visitors to the town is not good at all. So it affects residents, it affects businesses. It's just a serious problem all over.
Without water from the power station, Bird Lake, adjacent to the highway, is drying, releasing a smell similar to rotting fish.
You've just got to drive past the Bird Lake and the smell will put you off straight away, let alone seeing the massive cloud of fly ash. Not the place you really want to pull up and stay a night.
Alinta Energy subsidiary Flinders Power is in charge of the site. In a statement, the company says a temporary suppressant applied in November has been effective as an interim dust control measure prior to the commencement of permanent rehabilitation activities this month. But the company adds that severe weather events in Port Augusta last week have affected the suppressant on some areas of the ash storage dam. The company says it's working with the council, the Environment Protection Authority and other stakeholders to resolve the issue.
Authorities in Brazil are investigating a bloody prison riot that left about 60 people dead. This happened over the weekend. It is not clear how many prisoners have escaped and how their relatives are also looking for answers.
Family members of inmates, desperate to find out about their loved ones, rush the prison gates.
I want to know how my son is. My son is in there. This is a bullet.
Anguish is plain to see on their faces. Violence broke out Sunday in the prison complex in the heart of the Amazon, near the city of Manaus. Officials told state-run media that the bloody riot was sparked by a battle between rival drug gangs. Prison guards, along with 74 prisoners, were taken hostage during the 17-hour riot. The bodies of some of those killed were thrown over the prison walls, some of them decapitated.
Infelizmente houveram mortos
There were deaths, unfortunately. We have some outside the prison who were thrown from the prison by the inmates themselves. There have been escapes. We don't yet know how many. We're already looking for the escapees in the forests and highways.
Brazil has more than 600,000 people behind bars, the fourth largest prison population on earth. Prisons there have long been criticized for being overcrowded, violent, and disease-ridden.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is under investigation for possible corruption. Police questioned him for several hours yesterday, and it is not the first time that Mr. Netanyahu has been investigated.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is officially a suspect in a criminal investigation in Israel. Police and the Attorney General saying he is suspected of having received gifts and benefits from businessmen, though they won't say too much more about the suspicions, fearing the investigation may become biased one way or another if they reveal too many details. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has repeatedly denounced the allegations and the investigation against him. This is what he posted, or part of what he posted, on his Facebook page on New Year's Day. He said, "Unfortunately, you'll have to be disappointed this time as well, like you were disappointed on previous affairs. As usual, there will not be anything because there is nothing. Try replacing the Prime Minister at the ballot box, as is customary in a democracy." There, Netanyahu is referencing a previous criminal investigation into his affairs. That happened back in the late 90s during his first term as Prime Minister. It didn't lead to an indictment and didn't lead to any charges. Netanyahu predicting this current investigation won't lead to any charges as well. Now, this started about 6 months ago as an examination, as the Attorney General, Avichai Mendelblit, looked into affairs relating to the Prime Minister. But the Attorney General said it wasn't until a month ago that they had the evidence to believe this would lead to a criminal investigation. So what happens now? Well, Netanyahu doesn't have to do anything as long as this remains a criminal investigation without an indictment. Under Israeli law, only when it becomes a conviction, and that conviction is upheld at the highest levels, the Israeli High Court, does he have to resign. That being said, if this becomes an indictment with serious charges, he may face tremendous political pressure and public pressure to step down. But we're not there yet. At the moment, this is the beginning of a criminal investigation. Police investigators were at his house for about 3 hours on Monday night. This is just the first stage. It remains a criminal investigation, and that is where Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu predicts it will end.
Investigators have identified a man who they claim is responsible for the attack at a nightclub in Istanbul, Turkey, as partygoers welcomed the new year. For 39 people, the first hour of 2017 was their last.
Video from a party inside the upscale Reina nightclub the moment Istanbul entered 2017. Just 75 minutes later, mayhem. Flashes from a gun held by a man as he begins his killing spree. First outside, shooting a police officer and security guard. Then he opens fire inside. 39 people are killed, 69 injured. The victims from all over the world, including the United States.
I got shot in the leg, man. These crazy people came in shooting everything.
William Jacob Rack survived the night of terror. 7 of the 9 people he entered the club with left with bullet wounds. Rack now heading home.
For me, I wake up in the United States, I eat breakfast. You guys wake up and have to think of this. It's so sad, and I really wish everybody here the best.
The worst was yet to come for the victims' families. 24 hours after the massacre, the funerals began. This one for Fatih Çakmak, another security guard. His mother's moans pierced the silence. His father in shock. His son had survived this car bomb attack 3 weeks ago at an Istanbul stadium, but not the nightclub massacre. He was 1 in a million. If he wasn't special, hundreds of people would not have bothered to show up here, he says. This sorrow will be multiplied 39 times. This is just one of the families forced to say goodbye to their young loved ones after the Reina nightclub attack. 27 of the 39 victims were foreign nationals, including a film producer and a fashion designer from India. A beautiful 19-year-old Israeli citizen with a full life awaiting her. A massive manhunt is now underway for the man believed to be the lone attacker. Turkish authorities say they have his fingerprints and image, but still have not caught him. The aim of the attack, though, has come into focus as ISIS claimed responsibility using social media, saying in part, a soldier of the brave caliphate attacked one of the most popular nightclubs while Christians were celebrating their holiday. but the majority killed were Muslim, many from Saudi Arabia. The killer's ideology against Western ideals failing to change minds, but succeeding in sowing sorrow. And we also spoke to some of the survivors who told us people were so frightened that some jumped into the frigid, dark waters of the Bosphorus, trying to save their own lives.
True Kai Sports is next. Details when we come back.
True Kai Sports.
Welcome to True Kai Sports. The NCT Governors' Cup may have ended yesterday. However, the drive to see the competition excel to greater heights is still in discussion among the tournament organizers. Tournament coordinator Sengelo Skonga has seen the competition grow over the years and is now planning to introduce other sporting codes in this annual rugby competition.
Competition has seen the involvement of teams from various suburbs around the nation's capital pouring in to compete, with families and supporters in town. Coordinator and tournament initiator Sengelo Skonga said plans for this year are inspired by the interest shown by participating teams as well as the general public. Other sporting codes will be included in this event and not only rugby league.
So apart from rugby football league, we're going to have soccer, basketball, touch, footy. So, this is where we're going to actually expand. This is where NCDC will come because this was part of NCDC Sports Desk plan.
The drive to involve youths in the community and the vision to create unity using sports as the tool for positive mindset is the sole purpose of this event, Skonga explains.
One of the concepts that he uses is the plantation of people. He uses on TVET, but as for us, we come through the sports. And as for the sports we are going to go through, and it's really what we want to see is that there's going to be a change of life by going through introducing this concept that we have going into NCDC budget, where we have like security services, we have beautifications, we have waste management, and this is regarding the people.
The competition was organized by NCDC's Suburban Rugby League Management and sponsored by NCD Governor Pos Pakop, whose vision was to provide avenues for youths to engage themselves in activity that will keep them away from bad practices, such as the consumption of drugs and alcohol. Skonga said compared to the previous years, this competition attracted more participants, including women in league.
Last year it was not like this year. This year we have in total, showing the interest, it was well over 50. But to get the team down to register and to play, we had 42 for 2016 Governors' Christmas Cup.
The NCD Governors' Cup happens annually and will again be held in December during the festive season. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
With men being the centre of PNG's National Sport Rugby League, coordinator of Port Moresby Suburban League, Sengelo Skonga, said each year the competition promotes women in league to give them equal opportunity as their male counterparts. While sports in PNG is providing career opportunities and pathways for individuals to make a living, Skonga is encouraging all women to step up and take the opportunity to be part of something that can be rewarding in the future.
Proven to be the most popular sport in the country, rugby league, once a men's game, is now played by women all over the world while providing opportunities and means of making a living. A suburban competition which recognizes women's involvement in the code of rugby league is Port Moresby Suburban League, a competition that attracts youths from around the city to play during the festive season. So far, many women and girls in the competition are youths from the communities who are turning to sport to keep them occupied and also show to their male counterparts that they too can have a say when it comes to sports. Coordinator Sengelo Skonga believes that all women should have equal participation like men, no matter the type of sport. While sports have become a huge barrier breaker in the world, women are also stepping up their game to be counted and be part of not just rugby league but other sports as well.
Well, as it is said, PNG, rugby football league for that matter, people are saying that, in PNG, that that code, it is they are good.
Most of the women who have represented Papua New Guinea at regional and international competitions while playing for the Regianas have come from suburban league competitions. Godwin Aki, National EMTV Sports.
The crowned champions of the 2016 Fiji National Rugby League Vodafone Interzone competition, Nandi Aviators, are now looking forward to the Melanesian Cup Championship, where they will meet the Lace Necks Tigers. Papua New Guinea's 2016 Digicel Cup premiers will be travelling to Fiji for this meet. With February 17 just a few weeks away, Aviators head coach Vela Tawake is certain they will do well against a team of high calibre, and there has been ongoing training to keep their fitness levels up to speed. We'll have more on Trukai Sports after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The Surfing Association of PNG will be running an expression session competition parallel to the World Surf League event for longboarding, which will see the world's best surfers take on local PNG talent as they use traditional wooden boards for the challenge. This event is to revive the legacy of Hawaiian wooden boards, which PNG has adopted when it comes to using national resources.
With 44 professional surfers on home turf, SAPNG will have the opportunity to run a different event parallel to a World Surf League event where locals will use traditional wooden boards to compete against the world's best surfers. This unique event will be used to empower locals to see the importance of using sustainable methods by using natural resources. SAPNG President Andrew Abel said reviving the use of wooden boards that SAPNG is adopting from Hawaii is something Papua New Guinea will emulate into the future.
During this expression session event, our Papua New Guinean surfers, that male and female, will be competing against the world's best on our traditional palang splinter boards. And there'll be no points and no prize money, but it'll be an opportunity for us to showcase how surfing Papua New Guinea is imparting the skills of traditional Hawaiian timber board shaping to empower our local communities to utilise the balsa timber resource to shape these traditional timber boards.
Abel said SAPNG has been able to donate surfboards to its affiliated clubs from donations made by individual Australian surfers and associations.
The resource custodians have essentially been circumvented. 30, 40 years on now, these resource custodians now are now looking at Papua New Guinea going, look at the way these people have developed their sport and the industry. They're in control of their destiny. They're determining the policy and the model of how things can be done and should be done. They're looking at us now, and we've learned from the world's mistakes. And that's why it's taken us 30 years to develop our policies where we do have a truly equitable and sustainable platform where everyone is a winner.
The expression session event won't have any incentives for the winners, but is more aimed at promoting the use of wooden splinter boards made from natural resources. Godwin Aki, National EMTV Sports.
Roger Federer showed no signs of being rusty in his first competitive match after 6 months when he outclassed Dan Evans at the Hopman Cup. The 17-time Grand Slam winner underwent knee surgery in February and, after missing the French Open with a back injury, announced in July that he needed extensive rehabilitation.
Federer walked out to a standing ovation from more than 13,500 fans at the Perth Arena and breezed to an easy win over Evans, putting Switzerland 1-0 ahead in their match against Britain in the mixed team event. The former world number one, who has slipped to 16th in the rankings, said he enjoyed the timeout but had started to miss tennis. Federer has not won a Grand Slam title since Wimbledon in 2012. 6-4.
and it'd be nice to win another one. Of course, I'll even take 2 or 3 or 4, you know, but we'll see. It's tough at the top, you know. A lot of good guys are there right now, and a lot of young guys coming up too. So the gap's definitely not very big, but I'll give it a chance, and we'll see what happens.
Elijah Levitt, National EMTV Sports.
Stay tuned. We have the weather details up next.
Sky Sports. True Kai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Taking a look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, in Port Moresby, fine with cloud and afternoon covers. Fine in Daru, and fine becoming partly cloudy at times for Kerema, Alotau and Popondetta. In the Momase region, Ley, partly cloudy at times with chances of evening rain showers developing. Medang, fine, becoming partly cloudy at times. Wewak, fine, cloudy in the night and with rain showers developing. And Vanimo with a few showers and possible thunderstorms. In the New Guinea Islands, Lorengau, cloudy with overnight rain showers developing. Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul, cloudy periods with a chance of light showers. Kimbe, partly cloudy with chances of showers developing. And in Buka, partly cloudy. And in the Highlands region, cloudy with a few rain showers in Hagen. Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg, cloudy with chances of rain showers tonight. And a strong wind warning current for all coastal waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And before we go, recapping our main stories tonight. Another city group questions eviction notice. Highlands Highway sections damaged by flooding and public servants urged to focus on serving in 2017. And that's the news, sports and weather this Tuesday, January 3rd, 2017. On behalf of the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.